When purchasing products or services within the university, there are different processes depending on how much you spend. When spending less than $5,000, you can use your best judgment, P-card, or shop at UW. Make sure to remember that when ordering over $50 of printing services, you must do a simplify bid. When purchasing less than $5,000, you should still obtain quotes to get the best possible price. You should use minority business enterprises whenever possible. Remember, no purchase order is required, just use the best payment method. But if a new vendor requires a purchasing order, or paying with a quick order, request a W-9 to submit to purchasing. When making a purchase between $5,000 and $50,000, one needs to create a simplified bid. This is a process where you obtain written quotes from 3 different vendors for the same product or service, so there is an apples-to-apples comparison. When creating your simplified bid, make sure to keep a record, because it must be provided with your purchasing order request, to identify the information that was given to the suppliers. The supplier, with the lowest responsible bid, will be the one awarded. Serial or split transactions are prohibited. This is a big transaction that is split up into smaller segments, so the total amount does not exceed $5,000. If a product or service can only be obtained from one source, you are allowed to do a non-competitive negotiation. But in order to do this, your purchase has to be justified, such as the service or product is unique, such as entertainment, market data, or ref pay for paying referees. If there are grant monies involved, that require subcontracts and specify the contractor. If a public emergency exists where the urgency for the required service will not permit competitive solicitation, or substantial time pressure exists beyond the agency's control. If your purchase is over $25,000, it will require the governor's approval, and must be submitted to UW system well in advance. And if your purchase is at, or less than $25,000, the Director of Procurement has to approve it. Lastly, if you spend more than $50,000, you will need to either do a request for bid, or request for proposal. A request for bid is used when you know what product or service you need, then you select the one with the lowest cost. A request for proposal is when you are purchasing a product or service that is not well defined, because there can be lots of solutions. This is why cost is only one factor when deciding what to get. More information can be found on the Whitewater webpage, and if you have questions, please contact your purchasing department. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.